Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of We Talk Film. I am your host, Ben Berry, co-hosted with Clayton. As always, we're back. So what are we doing today, Clayton? What are we talking about today?
Well, today's a very special episode because we're doing Star Wars, and a lot more Star Wars. We're talking about Season 2 of The Bad Batch, as well as the latest episode of The Mandalorian afterwards. But, oh man, what a season. Why don't you kick us off with the first episode, Mr. Berry?
Okay, I will. So before we start anything today, if you haven't seen it, spoiler warning ahead. Just to make sure for those listeners that haven't watched the animated Bad Batch TV show. So we're starting off with Season 2 of The Bad Batch, Episode 1, Spoils of War.
Oh, here we go.
Tipped by her friend Girona, Sid sends the Bad Batch to Serrano to steal part of Count Dooku's massive war chest to help finance a future of their own. After some reluctance, Hunter joins in and the team proceeds to the planet, where the Empire is already transporting the Count's wealth off-world.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
good.
Hell of a way to start a season.
Yeah, no, it was. I wasn't expecting it to start off like that.
Yeah, straight away. It's like, let's go steal all of Count Dooku's stuff. I'm like, oh, we're straight into it. Oh, no, stuff's going to happen. And, you know, from what I can remember of this episode, I remember this was a hell of a start. It had heaps of action. It was a two-parter? Yes.
Yes. So there's two episodes to this one.
That's right. This one kind of ends with them getting the stuff. So basically, so the Bad Batch goes and steal Count Dooku's stuff. And it's pretty cool. Nothing goes to plan. Like anything the Bad Batch try and do.
Yeah, that's the reason why they're the Bad Batch. Just nothing goes to plan, and they have to fight their way out. That's the Bad Batch.
Man. Oh, they're such good characters. Every single member of the Bad Batch is so good. And they all get fleshed out so much in this one, which is another thing. Because the first season focused a lot on Hunter and Echo. This one kind of branches out to the other guys a lot more. I loved that. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because it basically picks up from a year after the first season. So basically, we're a year after the events of Order 66. So it's been a year since all that's happening. So it's still be very close to the Clone Wars, and obviously Count Dooku was involved with all that and everything like that. But so obviously Omega is a bit more trying to be Omega is trying to be a bit more mature this time around, and she's just like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can be helpful for the Bad Batch. And obviously it doesn't go to plan, and then they need to rescue her, and they meet that old guy in it that was part of like Count Dooku's people. And then he's like, Count Dooku was a bastard.
Yeah. Was he in the Clone Wars at all?
During the course. No, not that old guy.
Okay.
No.
I didn't
No,
think
he
so.
was just like a citizen. Yeah. I don't think we saw any person during
I don't
Clone
think
Wars.
So. No.
It was always Count Dooku.
Yeah, Count Dooku just kind of vibing. But no, he was an interesting character. He made me feel very uneasy at the start. I thought he was going to like turn him in or something. Being the whole separatist
well, that's the thing. Yep. Because they still were separatists, but obviously we find out that they weren't very happy about Count Dooku ruling over him. And it's still like, it's so nice to see still, even the beginning, even season 2 of this, like it's still connecting itself to Clone Wars and like the prequel trilogy and
for sure,
like that. Like they haven't forgotten about that. And obviously that's what Dave Filoni's just like, no, we need to add it in, because that was like some of the best stuff ever made to him anyway. And it's like, yes, good to see the ramifications of the Clone Wars. Like, because that's the thing, the Clone Wars and Order 66 was such a big thing in Star Wars, like history or mythos.
It's probably the biggest thing in Star Wars.
Yeah, or the fall of the Empire, either one.
Yeah, either.
But it's just like, it's good to see that we're seeing like small little stories of just normal people affected by all this. Like not just the clones, not just the Jedi and stuff like that. It's actually like, there's just ordinary people are just trying to get by.
Yeah, that's kind of what the Bad Batch does well. It kind of takes a step back from all that, and it's like, here's some ordinary people trying to just live out their days, and here's these soldiers trying to just, live and survive, and, not have to worry about fighting anymore, which is a big theme in this season, is that they don't want to fight. They want to just go chill somewhere.
Yeah.
live their lives.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because obviously they still don't have crosshair at all in the team, so they're still not really the original Bad Batch team anymore. And that's the thing, they're trying to like just live normal lives and try and keep Omega safe. That's their big goal, really, for the Bad Batch crew, is making sure Omega stays safe because of who she is.
Yeah.
What she potentially could lead to.
Oh yeah.
What we found out last season, what she was.
Yeah, and we find out a lot more this season about how
Oh,
just
yeah.
how important she is. Boy,
I guess it's like expanding the Star Wars universe so much more.
Oh, compared to the Mandalorian, this was awesome. I will say. Ah, even the latest episode of Mando, which we'll talk about at the end of this episode, pales in comparison to where we're at in the Bad Batch, man.
Yeah, it does.
This season was
how well like the seasons have been written for all the animated stuff is just
So
it's
good.
on point. As simple as that. It's on point.
So good. I mean, this season was off to a slow start. It took a while for it to find its feet, but once the crosshair episodes in particular started coming, I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I wish this was what the Mandalorian was doing, you know? Yeah.
I know, and that's the thing. Because like this is animated as well, and you have like more feeling for these characters that are animated, and also as well, which I love for like the clones and the Bad Batch and stuff like that, is goddamn D. Bradley Baker.
He
like does the voice for every single one of them, and they sounded different somehow, but they still sound the same.
Such a good voice actor, man. He's so good. Oh,
I was like, how do you do that, man?
I don't know. So I couldn't do that. I can barely give like, I don't know, 2 people different voices. They'd still sound like me.
Yep.
Oh,
and I think he's given each one their own personality as well, and it's insane.
So for this season, did you want to rate each episode, or do you want to maybe change it up to a season review?
Considering there was a season review.
I was thinking, because there were 16 episodes of this. That's quite a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. That's a lot of rating.
Yeah, and if we did each episode,
I would give D. Bradley Baker a voice rating of at least 10. Like 20 out of 10.
Like, at least
he's amazing.
He carries this show. It's so good.
Bro's well, he is the show. He is the Bad Batch.
Yeah, literally. Dude's every single character in this show. They only have to pay one guy.
Yep. That's it. That's all you need. He even does Omega.
Whoa. No, he doesn't do Omega.
No. Omega. He does Omega. Omega.
I can't remember her name.
Because there's a couple of other characters
that
I've realized she started to voice.
Oh, really?
Michelle Ang.
Oh, her name's familiar. What else is she in?
Yeah. She is in Getting Stuff. Fear the Walking Dead. 999.
Okay.
Big Mamas Like Father Like Son. The Taking of Deborah Logan.
No, I must have been thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well. Anyway, she's good in this.
Yeah, she's good in this. All right, so on to episode 2. We're going to get rolling here because there's 16 episodes of season 2. Ruins of War, so it's a continuation of last episode. The cargo container crashes on Serrano's surface, which is the planet they're on, while trying to make their way back to the Marauder. Omega, Tech and Echo. Omega. Meet Roma Adele, a local who's hiding in the woods. Oh, yeah, so this is that guy
old dude,
we're talking about. The old dude. And while conversing with him, the clones get a first impression of what a free life must be like. In an unattended moment, Omega sneaks out to recover more funds from the war chest, because that's obviously what they were going to go get in the first episode.
Yeah,
and Echo and Tech go after her, resulting in a clash with the Imperial search parties, whom with the 3 escape with Romar's help. Hunter and Wrecker fight free of the encirclement, reunite with their friends, and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this episode was the second part of the first one. I think they released at the same time, the first 2.
Yes,
yeah. So I remember watching them. I watched them, back to back, and it just felt like a really long premiere. It was awesome. I honestly thought they were going to kill someone off in this episode. The tension was that high at the end, especially because it started focusing on Tech and Echo. I was like, oh god, they're going to kill one of them. I was like, oh man, it wouldn't surprise me the way that the show was going. I was like, they're gonna die.
Well, that's
and then
the
they
thing.
just survived. I was like, whew.
Yeah, going into like very serious tones, even compared to the first season,
Yeah,
a bit more.
it really
Like it's
ramps it up.
almost like the end of how like Clone Wars was, because like Clone Wars towards the later seasons got like really dark.
Oh, I know everyone would
I
die.
feel like I feel like they're kind of doing the same thing now. That is like, yep, we're going
They have
places.
to, though.
Nope. Yeah.
It's gonna make
That's the
the
thing, to match
story
it on
so
point with
powerful.
Clone Wars. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And which it does. It does. Like this season, the ending of it was very impactful. I'm still recovering from it.
Some of the episodes in this season I would put up there with some of the best episodes of the Clone Wars. It was some awesome
for sure.
stuff. The Crosshair episodes, so good, man. I want it so much. Oh, and then of course the ending. Jesus Christ, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's basically like the first premiere thing, the 2 episodes that we had first, which started as well, by the way, because it's been 6 episodes at the start of January. We only just finished season 2. So it's been a long time. It's been 3 months.
Yeah,
3
it was
months
16
of Bad
episodes.
Batch.
They put out one a week. It's quite a lot.
Damn. 3 months of Bad Batch?
They
And I
also
already
put out-
miss it. I want more.
They put out the 2 last episodes at the same time, which spun me out because they hadn't done that before.
No.
That was good.
And which they obviously needed to as well because of events that happened. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, so let's get on to episode 3 of season 2, The Solitary Clone. Crosshair is assigned to Commander Cody. Yeah, Commander Cody comes back. That's
He's
right.
back in grey.
He's back in grey on a mission to the former separatist planet Desix to rescue Imperial Governor Croton, who had been captured and taken hostage. After a successful assault, they encounter Dex's governor, Tawani Armez, who demands Dexis remain under Imperial jurisdiction, citing the Republic's refusal to broker peace with the Separatists during the Clone Wars as reasoning. Cody argues for a peaceful resolution, but Crosshair kills Armez on Croton's orders, and Desix is brought under Imperial control. Returning to Coruscant, Cody questions whether the Empire is really doing good for the galaxy, and deserts soon after. So yeah, this had Commander Cody.
This was wacky. We hadn't seen Cody since Order 66.
Nope.
And we didn't even... the last time we saw him in the chronological time would be when he, in Revenge of the Sith. Because we don't see him after that.
Kill Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So. And now he's just doing stuff for the Empire. And I was really conflicted on whether I wanted him to rebel. Considering it's like all of the other main clones kind of gone that way. I was like, well, I don't know if Cody should. Because it never seemed like he did.
Well,
but we also don't see what happens after he rebels. We know nothing about what happens. So he's going to be back. Yeah. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Like, he would have to be. Well, he's one of the big Clone Wars characters.
He was always my favorite clone. Yeah. Cody was always my favorite.
And, well, that's the thing. Because it could be like the same case as the reason why Crosshair obviously still stayed with the Empire. Because Crosshair didn't, like, the brain chip didn't work on him. He just thought the Empire was going to do good. That's why he stayed.
I suppose.
So, like, it could have been the same type of thing, but then he started to realize, oh, wait a minute, this isn't actually good. So maybe like the chip did work at the beginning almost, but now since a year has passed, and that's the thing, because we also see in the background as well, and throughout the season, is that there are clones that have the chip, but they're starting to realize, oh, wait a minute, this might not actually be that great. Because even though they still have the chip in them, because it happened, I think it already started happening in the first season as well. Like you saw a couple clones like kind of questioning, being like, is this actually good? So
oh yeah. No, tell me about it. Is this the one that ends with the other guy, the other clone getting shot, or was that later?
That's later. That's another Crosshair episode. That was the
not the one in the snow. Just the General Shoots one, or was that first season? I can't remember. Anyway, we do see lots of clones, questioning their behavior, and of course we see it in the background. Which really cool is that you ever so slightly, as the show goes on, more and more clones are in the new armor. There's less and less clones and more other guys.
Yes.
And it slowly phases everything out. I'm like, oh, that's so cool to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's still that transitioning period of
yeah.
clones to or the stormtroopers, which would eventually come.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, there was pretty cool things in this episode. Obviously, like Cody and Crosshair go like on an assault on the tower
Oh, it was so
place,
good.
and
I
then
love the action.
Crosshair does some like real cool like mirror shooting stuff, and he's like,
So
"Yeah, we
good.
got you." And then
Oh,
like
man.
that final scene where him and Cody are talking to one another about the
Mm.
Empire and if it's good, and that big massive mural
Yeah,
that
that's
they're
right.
standing in front of. I really want to know what that mural actually represents. Like, is it
Ooh,
something to do for like clones or
I'm not sure. I might have to give the episode a rewatch and just have a look back and see what that was because yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah. And then yeah, obviously we find out that Cody did desert after this mission, and
But
we
we
don't
don't
really
know
know
what
what
happened.
happened to him. So
He could be
hopefully we
anywhere.
see more of him, and
He will.
hopefully we see
He'll be
more
back.
Cody. So,
Hell
bit of a
yeah.
change of pace for the next coming episode, episode
Oh,
4, titled
literally.
Faster. Yep. While Hunter and Echo are away on another assignment, Sid takes Omega, Tech, and Wrecker in a riot race on Safatuma to visit her cookie droid racer, Teo.
Oh
Sid
man.
is challenged by Maligny on one visit. So yeah, it's basically just like pod racing
It's
in a
pod
more
racing's
like
back.
fast. Pod racing is back,
Hell
but in
yeah.
little like scooter things, and they're a bit
Yeah.
smaller than pod racing. Go
Motorbike
through
pod
tunnels
racing.
and yeah, this was like just a different change up
Yeah.
of
This
episode.
felt a lot more
But
like the
yeah,
first season,
yes,
considering
yeah,
it was this one-off little story. And I enjoyed this one. I thought this one was a cool little side story, and it was good to see the Bad Batch being split up. I don't think we've
yeah,
had an
as well.
episode where it was, two of them focused, apart from, of course, maybe the intro to this. But this one was
Yep.
entirely, Tech and Wrecker and Omega. But yeah, no, it was
Omega.
really good. And the robot was cool. I like how he died
Yeah.
like 4 times. They rebuilt him
Oh
and
yeah,
he
he died
died straight
multiple
away.
times, and it was voiced by Ben Schwartz, who's the voice
Yeah.
for. So Sonic was Teo.
He was.
Yeah,
I
look at
didn't
that.
realize. That's
Mind
how fast
blown.
he was going.
That's how fast he was going. Maybe that's why they called it faster.
No, it was so good. And it was great to have another tech focused episode. Man,
Yes,
such
yeah,
a good character.
such a good character.
Oh,
And obviously he won the race in the end, and they're like, "Oh
yeah.
yes, let's go home. It was fun. We
Yeah, that was a good
raced."
little self contained one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and then what was next? What was next episode?
Next episode was
Oh, it's this one.
Entombed. While searching a junkyard for useful salvage, Omega and Wrecker find an ancient compass containing a set of
That's right,
coordinates
normally.
toward the uncharted card surety that carry the promise of treasure. Figurona, who's actually a new character they added this season as well.
Yeah.
The
Tech's love
African
interest.
American, yeah, Tech's love interest. That's right. Omega persuade the Bad Batch to set out for the system, where the compass leads them to Scaranel, the resting place of the legendary crystal, the heart of the
Ooh.
mountain. They find the stone, but upon removing it, Scaranel is revealed as an ancient doomsday mech, which begins running amok, and the Bad Batch crew manage to return the crystal, which deactivates and destroy the machine. Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot in this episode. I thought it was going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
fun adventure. It'll be like Goonie style. And it's like,
Yeah.
nope,
No.
world-ending massive tech Godzilla thing.
Yeah, that was a hell of a shock. It came out of nowhere. And it felt like a very High Republic era little design. Just from what I've seen of that, it felt very kind of sleek and very curvy with lots of lines and stuff. The robot thing
Yep,
itself. But
yep.
I just loved the start of this episode. It felt very Bad Batch's Indiana Jones now.
Basically, that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Like, let's do our own Indiana Jones episode.
It was good.
But yeah, it was like this like ancient Star Wars technology because
Yeah.
also as well, a lot of people theorizing that have you played the Star Wars Fallen Order game?
Yes, I've played Fallen Order.
Yep. So you know how there's like those ancient robot things and stuff like that in certain missions you go to, and like those Guardian Sentinel things.
Yeah, yep.
Yep. A lot of people are speculating that the same thing from this episode of Bad Batch is the same thing from Fallen Order.
They do
And
have
people
a
are starting to
similar
think because
vibe, yeah.
the new game's coming out now this year sometime, and that's like gonna intertwine a bit maybe.
Maybe
So we
that
might
game
see
comes
one
out
of
this
them.
month. Way.
Yeah, so we might be seeing one of them potentially. A lot of people theorizing
That'd be
in the
cool.
upcoming game.
Can you imagine if you fight
So,
that? That'd be sick.
oh, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
That'd
I
be
would like that. I
sweet.
would like that.
Oh man, this episode was a cool little self-contained story as well. I feel like it didn't
Yeah.
really further the plot. We got the tech and the love interest, whatever, I can't remember her name is. We got more of that. That was pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, Fig
I liked where that
Girona.
was going. I like how Tech was just clueless to the whole situation. She's clearly
Well,
like
that's the thing,
flirting with
because
him.
they're not, like,
No,
programmed or made to love.
no.
Like, they're kinda just like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
But it's funny, he's
Like,
worse than everyone about it too. He's less
oh, yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Well,
such a
he's tech.
quirky
Tech's
character.
tech. Yeah.
Tick.
Tick. Oh, give me a tick.
Alright,
So
number
yeah, on
6.
to episode 6, Tribe. The Bad Batch meets Vanguard Axis for a job until Omega ends up helping
Every
Gunji.
time.
Gunji,
Wookiee
a
Jedi.
Wookiee youngling escaping from his cartel captors, intending to return home. Well, the Bad Batch finds Kashyyyk ravaged by the group of Trandoshians, which are the big, like, lizard people things.
Mhm, mhm.
Most of them is working for the
Bosk.
Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bosk. After winning a local tribe's trust, the clones join the Wookiees and the indigenous wildlife in their fight against the Imperial opponents. So yeah, we have Gunji.
We
Gunji's
got
in this. He
Gunji
was in
back.
Clone Wars.
Yeah, he lived. He
He
survived.
lived.
I don't
I'm
know.
happy Gunji survived.
I don't know how he did. You'd think he would have been at the Jedi Temple, but I don't know, man. But then again, it turns out everyone from the Jedi Temple got away, according to the Mandalorian.
Well, at least a few anyway.
At least all the main ones.
Yeah, all the main ones, all the cool ones got away.
All the ones that we haven't made toys of yet. Yeah.
Yes.
No. This episode was brutal. The weird
Oh, yeah.
jungle spiders and
Yep.
they had napalm they used on the
Oh, yeah.
Imperials and stuff. I was like,
It's
man,
basically like
these Wookiees aren't
Vietnam for
the
Bad
Wookiees
Batch.
aren't messing around.
Nope.
And Gunji's
Well, that's the
cool.
thing, because I'm pretty sure that this episode was actually a cancelled episode or a couple episodes from Clone Wars Season 7.
Oh, one of the extra Bad Batch ones, maybe?
One of the extra Bad Batch ones, yeah, because they never
Okay.
showed more Bad Batch episodes, and they actually were working on a lot of them. There's a few
right.
low-res ones you can watch on YouTube, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure I remember seeing oh yeah, they were meant to go to Kashyyyk and go and help Wookiee and stuff like that. So they kind of
Yeah.
integrated that episode into this.
Yeah, no, I could see that. That makes sense. But I'm kind of
Yeah.
glad they did it here. It felt good. It's just
Oh yeah.
the whole Gunji thing. I mean, he's cool, but I don't know if he's that good of a character. I mean, it's cool to have a Wookiee Jedi, but he's kind of just that's him. He's a Wookiee Jedi. Doesn't really have
Yeah,
much
but
else to him.
that's all you need.
Yeah,
That's
I
all you
know.
need is the Wookiee Jedi.
Maybe I wanted just a little bit more from him, but that's okay. It didn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter too much.
No, wish we saw a young Chewbacca or something as well. It's like, it's
Young.
Chewie, it's Chewie.
Yeah,
Well,
we don't know what he's doing in
younger.
between Revenge of the Sith and Solo.
Well, that's the thing, because if you ever read behind the scenes of Revenge of the Sith and stuff like that, because obviously Chewbacca was in Revenge of the Sith movie, they were actually also going to introduce a 10-year-old Han Solo in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and that was actually the script for the longest time for Revenge of the Sith. Was actually during that time, and Yoda was going to make a young Han Solo already with Chewie.
Okay. That would have been terrible. I'm glad they didn't do that.
Oh yeah, so then they scrapped it, and then obviously they made
Thank God.
Solo, and that's how they
enjoyed
met
Solo.
in the prison cell. Yeah, I enjoyed Solo
I did
too.
like that. Solo's underrated movie for real.
It is. It
It
is.
was enjoyable. Oh, anyway, should we move on to episode 7? Ooh.
Episode 7, The Clone Conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. In the Imperial Senate, oh, that's right. Rampart pushes for passing a bill authorizing the military recruitment of Imperial citizens, meaning that the clones will be officially discarded. And then, we got Senator Rio Chuchi,
I think. Yeah.
Chuchi defends the clones' fundamental rights. Yeah, is approached by the clone troop Slip, whose friend Cade was murdered at Rampart's order. Yada yada yada.
That's right.
Just a whole bunch of stuff,
man.
and then obviously the Imperials are trying to get Chuchi killed, and then Rex gets involved, and he's like, "Hey, Bad Batch, you want to come and protect this person? We need your help."
I love this
And
episode, man.
yeah, no, it was good.
So
Like
good.
seeing the ramifications of like what's going to happen to the
Mm.
clones and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and then the start of what eventually is the new empire,
Yeah,
the
and all the
empire.
Senate stuff. Honestly, any episode of the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch where it's all just politics and Senate stuff, it's always so well written. There's always
Oh
conspiracies
yeah,
and there's always sly deals. And bringing Rex back, first time we see him this season, I think
yes, yep,
it was awesome. He's hinting at him building his own little clone rebellion, which I can't wait to see more of. We do see a little bit more of it later, but I can't wait to see
yep.
even more of full on clone rebellion. Ah, man, they haven't done that since Legends. But
Oh yeah.
can we talk about Palpatine in this episode?
We
Because
can talk
he
about
stole the show.
Palpatine in this episode.
Oh man, what an
Because
ending!
this is like a part 1 and part 2 to it. So like
Oh,
Palpatine
that's
comes
right.
in the second episode.
Oh, so that's episode 8.
Um, yeah,
We'll
well, that's the
combine
thing.
them.
We can talk about it together because it's literally part 1 and
Oh
part 2. So
man.
the episode A is called Truth and Consequences, which is just a connection to this one where the Bad Batch come in and try and protect. No, they try and get evidence
That's right.
about the Imperial about blowing up Geonosia. No, not Geonosia.
Kamino.
Where the clones are made. Camino. There's too many
Genosha?
planets,
This
man.
isn't the X-Men,
Genosha.
man. They're in the wrong universe.
I'm in the wrong universe
No,
today.
blowing up Kamino because he was on the ship, which was
Yeah.
obviously the end of the first season of The Bad Batch, if you haven't seen that. I don't know why you're listening, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Hell of
And
so
obviously Palpatine. Yeah, Palpatine's in this.
Whoa!
Palpatine's in Bad Batch. Whoa.
They get
And he's
the
still
evidence,
menacing, as
man.
always.
They get the evidence
They get
back
the
to the Senate.
evidence.
It looks like they're going to win. And then Palpatine rises out of the ground and he's like, hey, they've brought evidence
Yep.
to light. He did this. And this is why we need stormtroopers. And I'm like, oh, God, no. They
Yep.
lost. And basically, the Bad Batch are the reason that we have stormtroopers. So,
God damn
pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's still like, yeah, the Emperor is still such a lingering threat. Like he's just like playing, even though we think that the Bad Batch are like 10 steps ahead and like, oh yeah, we're gonna get him type thing. It's like the Emperor's always has been like 100 steps ahead of everyone else.
Bruh.
Yeah. That's just his character.
He's so good in this. It just makes me wish they did him justice in Rise of Skywalker. But we don't need to talk about that.
We don't need to talk about
that.
That's another time. That's yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
Eventually we'll get there.
So does that bring us to episode 10 now?
Episode 10, Retrieval. The Marauder is taken by its thief. Wow, that is such a bad sentence. A young boy named Benny Barrow to his owner Moko, who prepares the ship finds to sail. Omega devises a way to track the Marauder. The Bad Batch infiltrate Moko's mining base, coerce Benny into guiding them. Benny, hoping to gain Moko's favor, betrays the Batch's presence, but just before being captured, Omega discovers that Moko has been exploiting his workers for his own profit. With the revelation, Benny turns his comrades against Moko, who falls to his death, and the Batch restore the ship and leaves the planet.
What's his name? Mocker? Ben Berry and the Mocker?
So you got Benny Barrow, which is the guy that took the Marauder.
Ben
and then
Berry,
you got Moko, who's the Ben Berry, and then Moko, who was like the guy in control of the planet or whatever. That was like, go and get me the stuff.
Chocolate and half coffee.
Half chocolate and half coffee. Wow, he would taste good right now.
I like this episode. I liked all of these episodes. There wasn't a bad one.
Oh, we missed an episode.
Did we?
You said episode 10. Yeah, we were meant to do episode 9, which is like part 1 and part 2. Again, there's a lot of part 1s and part 2s.
Man.
That's right, because sorry, audience.
I'm reading off my list.
So ready for this.
We're so unprofessional.
So the Bad Batch go to this planet to get some Ipsian mineral. They go to the mines.
Right. Yeah.
During that, they get the ship taken by Benny Barrow.
Yeah.
But obviously they have to survive the mines and trying to find a civilization to get the ship back. And then obviously her and Omega and Tech have their own little disagreement with one another this episode.
That's right.
That's right. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but it was something like Tech Tech was being Tech type thing and not really giving about feelings
something
type thing.
Like that.
something like that. And then obviously Omega runs off, and then eventually he goes after her, and then they find themselves together alone, falling down a mine shaft, and then they're like, "Oh, you're actually quite good tech.
That's right.
Oh, you're really good tech." And yeah,
Save him.
and they had a nice little moment together. I will admit, like it was a good moment. And yeah,
Yeah.
obviously another one centered around tech a bit more.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh. So yeah, those
Oh
two kind of
man.
combined together in this little, almost kind of, enemy of mine kind of story.
Yep,
Kind of
yep,
almost
yep.
Total Recall level. Workers rising up against the dudes, and people kind of wandering into that. It was cool.
Yes.
You
It
know,
was cool.
yeah, it was good. There was no bad episodes
Showing
this
more
season, I will
things.
say. So
No, everything was quite well done. I
yeah,
will
which is a
admit
hell of a
about all
step
that.
up because the first season had a couple that I would call bad. There were a couple that I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
enjoy as much, but this one I
yep.
was like, man, I was hooked all the way through. This was awesome,
Yeah.
just
All right,
outshining
on to
everything else.
episode 11,
Oh,
which was a very,
this
very
one was
interesting
so
episode. This
good.
one was really cool. Metamorphosis. Dr. Royce Hemlock travels to an Imperial facility on Mount Tantus. So he's the new villain that's being
He the
introduced
bad
this
guy.
season. He's the bad guy on Mount Tantus to meet Nala Se, who was one of the leading clone
Ooh.
makers
I'm surprised
from
she's
the
still alive.
movies. And also, yeah, so am I. Well, she's one of the last remaining
They kept her alive on
Kaminoans.
purpose. So
Because of alive on purpose. He tries to persuade her in taking part of the Emperor's cloning projects, but she refuses. Meanwhile, a covert transport bound to Mount Tantus ends up stranded, and Sid assigns the Bad Batch to recover its cargo. While exploring
that's
the
right.
wreck, they discover that the cargo is an immature Zillo beast secretly cloned
Oh.
away from Kamino to serve as a living armament resource. An Imperial strike force is sent to recover the beast and capture all nearby witnesses, forcing the Bad Batch to retreat. Shortly after, Lamuse is brought to Mount Tantus, who's the president of Kamino, was the president. Like
Yeah, it was.
yeah, it was.
Oh,
To
man.
persuade Nala Se to cooperate, he divulges Omega existence to Dr. Hemlock in return for
Oh,
his
man.
freedom. So
Bro.
yeah, there was a lot that happened this episode.
The start of this episode. Have you played Republic Commando?
Yes, I have.
Bro, you know the mission I'm talking about where you go to the derelict
yes, I know
ship?
the mission.
That was
Yep.
exactly how this started. I was like, oh, it's so good. The commandos are running through and it's a very horror and there's something chasing them. Oh, and then when it's revealed it's a Zillo beast, because I didn't know it at first. I didn't see anything about
No,
it.
well, that's the thing, because it's only like it starts off at the beginning, like a little weird creature thing.
It's very
and it's
alien.
like, oh, that's
yeah.
Well, that's I think that was the whole point they were going for.
Oh,
It
for
was
sure.
like, oh yeah, we'll make like our own alien type themed episode, and I would say reference to the Republic Commandos game because there's a lot of references to that game throughout.
So good,
Anytime you see a Republic Commando, if I'm
you
being
see
honest,
them a lot.
you see them a lot.
I love it.
And then yeah, obviously you find out towards the later end of the episode, it is a Zillo beast, which we haven't seen since the Clone Wars.
Yeah, and they killed it.
And it's just like,
did they say it was the last one in the Clone Wars, or did they think it?
Yeah, well, they
thought it
was the last
obviously,
one.
But yeah,
And then that's right, because they got it from the planet where all the Zillo beasts used to roam, and it came up from the mines, and then they were like, oh, we're going to use this. Well, we'll take it back to Coruscant. And then I remember it got loose on Coruscant, and then they're like, killed it,
kill it
but
now.
it was still alive. And then at the time, Palpatine, who was in charge still, but not the Emperor yet, was like, oh, we're going to keep that type thing.
Yeah,
We can use it for something. Because that's the thing. It was like, well, it was impossible to defeat. Like how many episodes that actually took to defeat that thing. I think it was like an arc of like 4 or 5 episodes.
It was
just
a
about
long arc. I remember it.
Clone Wars, yeah. And that's the thing. They fired like everything at it. It's basically like their version of Godzilla.
Pretty much. And I mean, it kind of ends up to that point in this. It obviously doesn't grow as big, but the Empire do manage to capture it, which is another thing. The Bad Batch don't stop the Empire from capturing stuff. The Bad Batch rarely do anything that will stop the Empire. Everything they do leads the Empire into just doing what they want anyway. It felt
and that's the thing, because they're
hopeless.
still trying to obviously, stay under the radar of the Empire a bit as well. They don't want to get involved as much as they can, because at the moment Empire thinks they're dead.
They end up
essentially
getting involved a lot.
And then they end up getting involved a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to episode 12, The Outpost.
This was my favorite episode.
Yeah, this was just so well done. So Crosshair is assigned to Lieutenant Nolan and travels to a remote Imperial outpost of Barton 4 under the command of a clone named Mayday. The
Mayday.
outpost is
Oh,
attacked,
man.
the 2 cargo crates containing classified cargo are stolen. Nolan orders Crosshair and Mayday to recover the cargo. The 2 clones eliminate the thieves and find the cargo, which is Stormtrooper armor, but an
Uh-oh.
avalanche fatally injures Mayday and buries the cargo. Crosshair carries Mayday back to the outpost, but Nolan chastises them for failure and refuses to provide a medic for Mayday, who succumbs to his injuries. Fed up with Nolan's arrogance and disrespect of clones, Crosshair kills Nolan on the
Oh,
spot
man.
before losing consciousness. So yeah, there was
Oh,
a lot this
this
episode.
was a hell of an episode, man. Oh, it felt so good. It felt very war movie like. It felt like you could
Yes.
have inserted this story into any war and it would make sense. The whole
Yep.
soldiers coming to grips with the controlling leader who'd never done anything before.
Yep.
And such a dark and depressing little story that
Oh
led to
yeah.
Crosshair's betrayal of the Empire.
Yep.
Hell of a
Now
moment.
this was definitely, I would say, probably my favorite episode of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
Yeah. Because
It
yeah,
was
that's the thing. It
just
was
so
just like
good.
so well written for
Mm,
such a like small little story. And that's the thing, it's just showing more of Crosshair being like, I'm fed up with this now. Like I have made
mm,
the wrong choice, really.
mm-hmm. It was his turning point.
And
Yeah.
it was his turning point. That's essentially it. And yeah, obviously
Yeah.
seeing all the other clones around him dying, and then your lieutenant just not caring about them at all. And to him,
No.
that's his brothers. That's the people he went to war with and stuff like that. And now
Mm.
the empire's just coming in and just be like, we don't care. We're gonna get new people coming in.
Yeah, I know.
So
This was far the best episode of the season, and they were all
oh yeah,
good. So that shows just how good this one is. If we were doing individual episodes, this would be a 10 out of 10.
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man. So
Well, I'm
well
looking
done.
at IMDb right now, and at the
Have a
moment,
look.
it's got a 9.2 rating
Oh, wow.
for that episode.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty good. IMDb ratings are usually quite harsh, so
yeah,
that's pretty well done.
yeah,
Ooh, well,
yeah.
should we go to the next one?
The next episode is Babu. Bapu? Bapu. Bapu.
Pabu.
Pabu. That's it. And informally cutting ties with Sid, the Bad Batch and Omega
Thank God.
help Fee Joanna recover a lost artifact. Joanna convinces the clones to accompany her to the peaceful island of Pabu. They are hosted by Major Hazard of his daughter Liana, who befriends Omega. That tsunami
Omega.
threatens to lower the city. Omega. That's right. There's a tsunami in this one, and then Hunter
Yeah.
manages to rescue Omega and Liana at sea. Yada yada yada. They're just on this little island chilling. They're just trying to escape.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was.
This episode was probably my least favorite of the season,
Yeah, what's the
considering we
lowest
came
rated
off of
one
that
on
high point.
IMDb?
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, this one just felt kind of like it was just a little side story right as things were really picking up. I mean, it was
Yep.
fine. It wasn't bad. It was fine. The
Well,
earthquake
that's
and
the
the
thing.
tsunami
Yeah,
stuff was cool.
well, that's the thing, because like we were saying earlier, in the first episode and stuff like that, like it was showing more of like the Bad Batch want to just have a normal life for
Yeah.
Omega. That's what Hunter really does. He just wants Omega to have a normal life, and then at the end of the episode, they're just like, well, why don't we stay? We help him rebuild after the tsunami, and we can stay here. That's basically what happens.
Yeah. You know what I think would have made this episode better? If they
What?
scrapped the tsunami and the earthquakey stuff and just had them kind of rock up and just have it entirely like character focused, maybe have just lots of moments and then being like, well, why don't we
Yeah,
just chill here? That would have been maybe a more heartfelt story right before the kicking in the face of the ending. Maybe that would have been better,
yep.
but it was alright.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because you could have just shown like the Bad Batch trying to live like a normal
Yeah,
life almost in this episode.
that would have been interesting. I
Yeah.
would have
Well,
watched
that's
the
the thing,
hell
because
out of that.
all they've known and all they were made for was just to like
Mm.
kill.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what all the
Yeah.
clones were.
It
Was
would have
just
been
go to war
interesting,
and
yeah, if it threw them into a story where it's like they are trying to, but they don't need to. So they've got to kind
yeah.
of like, let's just chill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to episode 14, Tipping Point. Several clones imprisoned for disobedience against the Empire, including Hauser, are rescued by a group of rogue clones led by Echo and Gregor and brought to Coruscant, where Senator Chuchi questions them about their intended fate.
Okay.
This is so bad. People on Wikipedia can't type.
Oh, man.
With only a few encrypted data scraps recovered in the raid, Echo rejoins the Bad Batch on Pabu on Mount Tantus, the transport's destination. Crosshair is interrogated by Dr. Hemlock about the whereabouts of the Batch, specifically Omega. He escapes in an intended moment. That's right, by the Doctor Lady. She
yep.
helps
We'll
him
learn about
escape
her later.
almost. We'll learn about her later. His former clothes before being recaptured and subjected to more intense torture. So yeah, it was just more stuff.
Yeah,
just
it was
kind of
Crosshair
a bit more
trying to break out. No, I really like this one. Crosshair tries to break out and get stopped. It's pretty much
that's right, because he also sends a signal as well.
He sends the Bad Batch message
on the Bad Batch message on the old Bad Batch code or whatever they said about it, and they're like, "Yep, well, we have to go and get
sets up the ending
back." Sets up the ending.
If they released it as a 3-part ending and just all 3 at once, this would probably be awesome. They just combine them all into like a 1.5 hour episode. It'd be a hell of a start to it because it sets up everything, brings Crosshair back from the bad side, I guess. Into the this is wrong. I'm actually going to try and help these friends, help my brothers, and anything more where the clones are rebelling has hooked me instantly. Man,
I and that's the thing. I feel like with the end of this, like we are hearing about Rex's like clone army he's kind of building. I feel like in season 3, I feel like we're gonna see like a whole bunch of clones go up against the new age of stormtroopers.
They're all gonna die.
Feel like something. Oh yeah, well they have to because of canon.
Yeah.
So we kind of know where it's like gonna head, but
the fact that we know that they're all gonna die makes it so much more impressive that they're making us care about these characters. Because it's like, well, what they really do doesn't really have an impact. But they're no, you're going to care about these characters and we are going to kill them off one by one until you're crying and you're dying inside.
Yeah.
They're doing it really well.
They're doing it really well. So that leads us to the final 2 episodes of this season. So I'm just going to play the Bad Batch theme. Just in honor of the Bad Batch. And I'm going to start with episode 15, The Summit. In order to find out more about the Science Division's activities, the Bad Batch trails Dr. Hemlock to an intermediate summit hosted by Tarkin and on Iridu. The gathering concerns establishing a network of total control over the galaxy, in which the ASD's secret research in the Kaminoans cloning technology is supposed to play a critical role. As they sneak into the base where the summit is held, the Bad Batch discovers that Saul Guerrera has also infiltrated the compound to assassinate the assembled Imperial top-level officers. The intruders are discovered and the alarm is raised, but Guerrera sets off the explosive, which disrupts the base rail car, and the Bad Batch must use to escape, leaving them stranded. Let's just quickly talk about this episode because there's a few things going on in it before we get onto the final episode, which a lot happens in the final episode.
Man.
Yeah.
Jeez. What a hell of a start. I forgot that Saw Gerrera was in it. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
It was
just like kind of like 5 seconds of him there. And he's like, oh, I'm going.
Pretty much. He just kind of there and he messes things up.
Yeah. But also as well, what we do see is obviously Tarkin, Hemlock, and
Krennic.
Like the high.
Krennic was there.
That's what I was about to say.
I saw him.
Krennic was in this episode. He
Ben
didn't
Mendelsohn.
say anything, but Krennic is there.
They couldn't get Ben Mendelsohn to come voice him. Oh.
Probably too busy doing Secret Evasion, so.
Yeah, they were like, so Krennic, what's the deal with the Death Star? And he's like, well, and then it cuts away. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they like used a voice line from Rogue One or something like that.
And this is where it hints at Omega being the key to Palpatine's cloning program.
Yes,
so that's a huge reveal. I thought they were going to do that with Grogu in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's all kind of leading to the same thing
I
a bit
suppose, yeah.
because they're still like trying to talk about the cloning in Mandalorian.
Mm.
And I would say because since Dave Filoni's like still a writer on that, well, somewhat involved with that still, and then obviously is heavily involved with sorry, heavily involved with this Bad Batch. Well, this Bad Batch is just his baby essentially, and then he's also got the upcoming Ahsoka show that he's directing and writing every single episode of, because that's his like child is Ahsoka. That's
Mhm,
the one
mhm.
character he made out of Clone Wars with George Lucas, and I feel like it's all integrating because since the new trilogy that they released from Disney, so Episode 7, Episode 8, and Episode 9, was
Yep.
received very poorly,
Oh, for
especially
sure.
Episode 8 and Episode 9.
Yeah, we
I
know,
feel like
we
now
know.
they're trying to kind of do what they did, like Clone Wars did for the prequels. They're
Yep.
trying to improve
Yeah.
the reason as to why those events were done in the movies.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to rectify it all, and I feel like they're doing it
Yeah.
well because they're making us care about what happens before then, that I feel like maybe
Yes.
in 5 or 10 years, if we revisited the sequels with the prior
Yep.
knowledge and the context, they would probably be better, I will say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that
man.
leads us to episode 16,
Jesus
Plan
Christ. This
99.
episode starts off with the most gut-wrenching thing, Barry, if you wanna take it away.
Oh, man. This is so sad every time I think about it, man.
Hang on, I got
With
you.
the rail car imperiled by an Imperial attack, Tech sadly sacrifices his life to enable the team's escape. So no more Tech.
He's
Yep. We had to
dead.
put some sad
They killed
Tech's
someone
dead.
off.
They killed someone
My
from the Bad
God.
Batch, and like he's dead, like dead or
I
potentially
hope
dead.
so. We didn't see a
I
body.
hope so. We didn't see a body, but we saw glasses.
Oh, man.
And then obviously they retreat back to Old Mantell, where Sid
Mhm.
is to recover, obviously
Oh,
treat their injuries and
hang
stuff
on, let
like
me
that because
turn
they
the
got like
piano
real
back
messed up as
on.
well. Turn the piano back on. There it is. So they retreating to Ortel Mantell to treat their injuries and come to terms with their loss. The Bad Batch is then betrayed by Sid to Hemlock, who
Oh.
captures Hunter and Wrecker, forcing Omega to come out into the open. Echo and AZ-1 rescue their comrades, but Omega is captured and brought to Mount Tantus, where she encounters Nala Se and Crosshair, all tied up in the thing, whatever they're doing to him, which we don't really know
Yeah.
quite yet. There's a whole
Just
bunch of
messing with his
clones in the
mind by the looks of it,
messing with his
yeah.
mind. In addition, Emery Carr, who is one of the scientists at Mount Tantus, reveals herself to Omega as another clone and her genetic sister. And that
Oh
is
my
how the
God.
season ends.
Oh. They really ended the whole thing on a cliffhanger. I will say
Yeah.
that was, yeah, I was mad and sad, and I was going through a whole lot of
There was a
emotions
lot of
watching this one.
emotions going on.
Ah, a cliffhanger. Wrecker and Hunter are gonna go mental at the start of the 3rd season, I will say, to get Echo
Well,
they
also
Omega
Echo
back.
as well. So yeah.
Yeah, Echo will be with him.
Um,
And yeah, it ends, I think the final line is like, "We'll do whatever it takes to get her back," or something.
X. Yep.
Yeah.
Because they don't know where Mount Tantus is, because that's the kind of the whole
No.
point of this season. They've been trying to get the information because they know something's going on, like the Empire is doing something, and they're trying to find where Crosshair is and stuff like that, but they just don't know where all this is going down, like what's happening to all the clones and stuff like that. But yeah, why did they kill Tech?
He was like the best of the side ones.
He was
Hunter
the
was my
best
favorite. He
one.
was my second favorite, man.
Yeah.
That's probably why. They spent so many episodes fleshing him out this season, making us like him, to kill him off at the end. I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, man.
Oh. And
So it's like, is this how like the
I thought
Bad
they were going
Batch
to
is
kill
gonna
Wrecker
end?
off as well when Tech was dying.
yeah.
I was like, I thought they were going to kill both of them off. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if the 3rd season opens up with another death.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing, because it depends on how many seasons they plan on doing with the Bad Batch as well.
They're one down.
And we know, like, they kind of majority of them will probably have to die eventually.
I reckon all of them will, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like at the end of the day, as long as it's to protect Omega and her lifestyle, I feel like a lot of them will be getting cut off, especially when they want to finish the show. So, but the other big thing as well, it turns out, Omega has a sister, so there's another clone, female version of the clones,
I don't get it,
and
man.
somehow she's older as well.
Maybe she's one of the younger ones, the ones that age faster.
Could be like trial one type,
but
thing.
Again, that's still weird. Unless I was thinking maybe she's not a Boba Fett clone, she's a her clone, like she's the original. Which I was thinking maybe, instead of Jango Fett, sorry, not Boba Fett. Yeah, instead of Jango being her father, it's like she's her mother in a cloning way, and she's not actually related to the Bad Batch in any way. Possibly, unless of course, she's just a younger clone, which I'm sure we'll find out more next season, considering Omega's stuck with her for however long it takes them to do the next season. Oh God.
Yeah,
Can they
that's
hurry
the thing
up?
now.
I want it now.
We won't be seeing that until next year now.
Yeah,
I would say. So,
bro, man,
an entire year of a cliffhanger like that, and then it's just like, that's all you get. That's all you get. Sorry,
they really teased us like that, man. Oh yeah, it was so good.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I feel like next season's going to go like into a warpath with the remaining Bad Batch, and I would say they're probably going to get like. I hope they get Crosshair back. I hope, unless he's going to like
they will.
Maybe like semi-sacrifice himself to save Omega.
Yeah, I was just thinking that
he's still done a lot of bad shit that he doesn't feel proud of either, and that was like kind of his character this season. And he started to see like the Empire's not good and stuff like that.
He's gonna have
maybe
to
they get
himself
Rex and his army to come in to save Omega next season and everything like that. It's all leading up to like a massive like combat, like definitely against the new Empire and the clones.
We haven't seen any of this before. There was lots of legend stuff about a clone uprising, and then of course they scrapped all that, and now they're slowly bringing it back with this. And I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting this to just be a little quirky little show, and now it's like, now this is now the most important show in Star Wars right now. Like Mandalorian doesn't hold a candle to it. And
nope.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's technically final thoughts. If you guys want to jump to ratings.
Yeah, well, we definitely can on that.
And we can get the Mandalorian done quickly.
Get the Mandalorian done quickly, running out of time. So my final rating for this season would have to be at least a 9. A 9 out of 10, I'm giving it. Like, it was really well done. Like, for, like, comparing it to a lot of, even Mando at the moment, because that's obviously what we're watching at the moment. It was so well paced. A lot of the episodes, even like the ones that weren't really connecting to the story or anything like that, were just still well done type thing. Like, it was just more character building of the Bad Batch. And I really felt for the Bad Batch.
You know, felt more personal,
I felt, a lot more personal. And like, they're just trying to survive and trying to get past the Clone Wars and everything like that. And it's just, there's a lot to it. But I'm excited to where season 3 is going to head. And just seeing what happens now. Because that was such a cliffhanger.
Oh, man. I'm in the exact same boat. I'm sitting on a 9 out of 10. This was a hell of a season. It was miles above the first season of The Bad Batch. It felt a lot like the last season of The Clone Wars. And that's a hell of a good thing. Because it seems like animation is where this stories kind of shine. You feel a lot more personal for the characters. You feel a lot of love. And it makes you care about 7 people voiced by the same guy individually in each different way. And that's hell of a feat. And it just makes me want more now. I want 3rd season right now, ready to go. Come on, man. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 from both of us.
Isn't a 9 out of 10.
Da-da-da! Oh, wrong one. There we go.
This is the way.
So yes, getting into, as always, another chapter of Mandalorian. Chapter 21, The Pirate. Hey, remember the pirates, Clayton? You remember the pirates?
I hated the pirates.
You hated the pirates? Oh, guess what, Clayton? They're back again. They're back, you know? The people in Navarro need protection from the rampant pirate attacks. So somehow they get all the Mandalorians involved. And it's just like, hey, guess what? Pirates.
I don't know, man. This episode of The Mandalorian, again, it was better than the last one, and the last one was okay. This one was good. This one had the best action that we've seen all season, I will say.
Oh yeah, well, it was just like mass Mandalorians
when the
working
Mandos
together
like
for
dropped
once.
out of the ship and stuff, I was like, okay, this is actually really good. And that whole fight and all the Starfighter stuff was really good. Everything else sucked, I will say. The writing was terrible. It's making me not care about these characters as much as, the Mandalorian's awesome. It's like, I don't care about the armorer. I don't care about any of the other Mandalorians that live in a cave. I don't care about Grief Karga and his like rich little palace that gets blown up. Like,
yeah.
The pirates we saw for 2 seconds 3 episodes ago. It's like, I don't care.
Guess what? Back and they're angry. They want to have their booze at the school. So now we've got to shoot everything
They were
up.
drinking booze at the school. Did you see that?
They
were drinking. I thought that was funny. I like that bit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But man, I just don't know what's going on with this season. If I'm being honest,
maybe he's putting all these good writers on the Bad Batch.
Well, here's the thing. Because so far, the writers for season 3 of The Mandalorian is just Jon Favreau, not Dave Filoni.
Really? Oh, okay.
Because Dave Filoni has been busy working on Ahsoka and The Bad Batch. So he hasn't had time to come in and do this season.
So it's Jon Favreau's
This has all been
fault.
Jon Favreau's. Yeah.
Bro.
So, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you always, like, kind of do see that, like, compared to, like, interviews and stuff like that. Like, Jon Favreau, yeah, he does love Star Wars, and yeah, he did like amazing stuff and everything like that. But Dave Filoni is George Lucas 2.0. I'm saying it now. The guy is literally George Lucas 2.0. Like he just knows everything about Star Wars, how it runs, how everything should work in the Star Wars mythos.
But he has a cool hat,
and he has a cool hat too. Really
it's like if George Lucas could see the flaws in his own writing as well. Yes. That's what he is. Yeah. He's like George Lucas, but slightly better. He didn't come up with the world, but he knows it like the back of his hand, and he knows what works and what doesn't. And I wish he was writing Mando as well. Because
that's the thing. Because now I'm looking forward to like Ahsoka and seeing how well that gets done.
I hope it outshines Mando, honestly.
I really hope it does, because season 3 of Mandalorian fucking sucks.
We're not getting anywhere with it, man. And then the end of the episode where it's like, Bo-Katan, take your helmet off. You've got to unite us all. And everyone just looks really mad at her. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, we have to unite, but we're not going to do it. Just you.
You are. Yeah, just you.
You saw a mythosaur, so you can take your helmet off. What?
Yep.
The armor is making it up as she goes. None of it makes sense. Yeah. Their whole culture is stupid.
But also as well, and there was a bit of a Star Wars Rebels Easter egg in this episode.
Oh, Zeb.
With one of the characters. Zeb.
Zeb's in it.
Zeb was in it.
I did
and
like
they actually,
that.
They got Steve Bloom to come and voice him again.
Spike Spiegel?
Spike Spiegel is in Star Wars? Oh my god.
The Green Goblin?
Emily's got to freak out about this when I tell her.
Whoa.
Whoa. But yeah, no, we have Zeb was in this episode, and a live action version of Zeb as well.
He looked really good.
He looked really good. I wonder if we'll be seeing him in the Ahsoka show then.
Probably. We're seeing everyone else in Ahsoka. I mean,
yeah.
You know what I wish this episode did? I wish this episode was entirely from that one Rebel guy's perspective, the pilot dude. Because the stuff with him at the start was really good. And then he's just like, oh, you Mandalorians can do it. And then he leaves. I was like, oh, I want to just follow him for an episode. Yeah. You know what? We got to do some crazy stuff like that. Give us some rebellion stuff, you know?
I know. There's just a lot of things going on. It's just,
Yeah.
So what do you want to give the rating for this one?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 5. This is as mediocre can get, man.
Yeah.
But again, it was the best action, so that's 5 points for
best
action and Zeb.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 5 as well. That's the thing. I wasn't like too impressed, even though the action was like, oh, really cool. It was just like the story for it was just like
stupid
type thing. It's kind of stupid. It's just like, like I want to see the Mandalorians. I want to see more of their culture. I just want it to be better. It's just like, why?
Man.
Why are they making episodes like this?
They have such a good premise, and they have such a good lore and history with these characters. They can do so much, but it feels like they're wasting the potential of the whole Mandalorian story. And I really hope it picks up, but my hopes for it are dropping so fast, man.
Well, that's the thing, because how many more episodes? We've only got 3 more episodes of Mandalorian.
Oh God!
Because
what are they going to do?
8 episodes. 8 episodes this season, isn't it?
Yeah, half of a Bad Batch season. I don't know what they can do. That's the thing. Bad Batch had twice as many episodes, and it felt like there was no filler. This has had 5 episodes, and it's felt all filler. We're near the end of the season. It's like, come on, man.
The only decent episode, so far, story wise, has been when he went to Mandalore, because that's what the last season was kind of leading to.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to go to Mandalore, and that's been the entire thing. And then that was the one episode.
Yeah, with Grievous. Grievous's cousin.
Grievous' cousin, yep.
Yeah.
Sleevis. Yep.
Yeah, Corporal Sleevis, yeah. And I can't remember anything else that I liked about the season off the top of my head.
No, not at the moment. That's
nothing that was above mediocre.
Especially not the pirates.
I fucking hate the pirates, man. Oh God,
I
hate them.
Man, he just looks bad, if I'm being honest.
Bro, it's so easy to do a good villain like him. I compare him to Admiral Trench from the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah.
He's one of my favorite villains, and he was only in 2 episodes, and all he did was just sit in a ship, and he was so menacing and threatening. And then this pirate guy's like, bah, 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 bah. I look like Swamp Thing, and Davy Jones had a weird baby. And that's kind of his whole character.
Yeah. But obviously, the Mandalorians take down the pirates, and then they're like, Grief Karga is like, I give you land. You can come back now and be hand.
So stupid.
It's like, wow, we get land in space?
There's 30 people left in that city too, did you see? They couldn't pay enough extras to fill it out. There's 20 of them lived.
Yep. No, but I'm glad we got to see live action Zeb as well. I'm happy about that.
Oh yeah.
He's obviously part of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, as he should.
As he should be, Good old Zeb. But I really hope we see Zeb in Ahsoka. So fingers crossed. Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed we see more Zeb.
Yep. Well, I think that brings us to an end of another episode. That's episode 5.
It sure does.
We're halfway to 10. That's a pretty good milestone. Also, when this episode comes out, we should hit over 100 total listens for the series. So I think that's pretty good milestone.
That is a big milestone.
That's pretty
Especially
impressive.
From 2 guys is starting it 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, for 5 episodes. That's an average of 20 listens in an episode. So thank you guys for listening. And we hope you enjoyed this one, and we hope you enjoy the next one. Should we say goodbye?
And goodbye, audience. And we'll see you next time, if there's a next time. There's always a next time of We Talk Film.
We'll be back next Sunday for something completely different and also more Mandalorian. But we'll get to that then. Anyway, catch ya.
See ya.